Hey everyone, welcome to this webinar. So this section is about AI and SEO. When it comes to, I'm not going to talk about search and how AI is changing search. I'm just going to talk about how AI is changing our jobs and the way we do SEO. Um, So let's get started. A little bit about myself. Hi, I'm Sarah Daher. I've been doing SEO for 10 years. I'm a mom. I'm an ex-startup founder. I'm a LinkedIn creator and a lot of other things. And I'm super excited about today's topic. So let's dive in. So what's going on? We know that AI is changing everything and changing search, but what about our roles and our jobs and our careers? And how are we supposed to leverage this to become better at what we do, right? So, a lot of questions and a lot of things going on. Is a great opportunity for businesses. Businesses want to adopt AI because it's cheaper and faster and better. So it does the job at a cheaper price. It does it faster, and it can do it actually better than a lot of. I don't want to be offensive, but it can do it better sometimes, or it can do better than some humans. So there is a big opportunity for businesses, and if they use AI, right? Perfect. All the things they want. Cheaper, faster, better. So you may be thinking, okay, so does that mean I'm losing my job? Here's the thing. I'm going to show you some numbers and some statistics and show you that some of them are threats to our careers, but then others you can consider as opportunities, right? So, for example, AI could potentially replace around 800 million jobs worldwide by 2030. That's a huge amount of jobs. Obviously, that's a threat, right? That's something that may make you feel, oh, I'm uncomfortable. What's going to happen to my job? And then another statistic is 74 of businesses are still in an experimentation stage with AI, suggesting this suggests room for growth and optimization. So most businesses actually are not there yet. They're still experimenting and they're not sure how they can use AI. So if you jump on that trend, if you upskill yourself, you are going to have an edge in your role, right? So that's actually an opportunity. And then 75% of companies said they were looking to adapt AI within the next 5 years. This was a study in 2023. Obviously, again, oh my God, all these companies want to adapt AI. This sounds like a threat, but then when you know that 68% of business leaders feel they struggle to attract adequate talent to manage their AI solutions, not many people are able to use AI solutions. So it's a struggle. It's a big thing. And if you upskill yourself, if you get on this trend, if you learn how to use AI, you are actually future proofing your career and you are giving yourself an edge in the job market. And then there are two more things. AI hallucinates. It's always going to need, or at least for now, we know it needs a human operator. So that's an opportunity for us. And then one last thing, studies show that programmers who are using AI were able to code 126% more projects per week than programmers not using the technology. This is an opportunity for you if you're a freelancer, for example. This means you can take on more work, right? And do it in less time. If you're working in a company, this means you can finish more work in less time. So it's an opportunity for you to excel at what you do, right? So everything you can look at from two sides. It can be an opportunity, it can be a threat. So what should we be doing? Are you going to lose your job? Again, the same question. It really depends. So let's take a scenario. If you're a copywriter and for the past years, or past 10 years, you've been writing an article, let's say a minimum of 2 to 4 hours, obviously it can take more, but let's just for sake of simplicity, let's say you take 2 to 4 hours to write an article for $100. That's how it has been going on for you. If you look at this here screenshot, this is from an AI writing tool, and you can get 25 articles for $99 per month. And like, how good is this article? It's okay, it's acceptable level. It's not awesome, it's not great, it's acceptable. So, and if you think about this, okay, how can you compete with a tool that can generate 80 articles for $300 a month. So it's cheaper, it's faster, and it's better. And when I say it's better than a lot of mediocre copywriters. Obviously, you don't want to be a mediocre copywriter. So how can you compete with this, right? And keep in mind that this tool can also translate the content. So it's like you, if you're a copywriter, you may feel that your job is being impacted. But what's happening here is the bar for writing content just got higher. Mediocre content is not gonna have any demand anymore because AI can do the basic, the a good piece of content, right? A good place to start for less. So don't compete there. That's not where you want to compete. You need to adapt or you're gonna die. So you think about this. You want to be a good copywriter and you want to use the tools. You don't think of yourself as going up against the tools. You are using the tools, right? So you have copywriters who don't use AI, you have AI content, and then you have copywriters who use AI. And this is the best combination, right? If you're a good copywriter and you use AI, you're going to beat good copywriters and you're going to beat AI. Your content is going to have a better and higher quality. So that's where you want to be. You want to upskill yourself. You want to be really good at what you do. You don't want to be a mediocre writer. You want to be very specialized, very well. I don't know, like whatever skills you need to be a good copywriter, and the knowledge. Maybe you want to specialize in specific area or areas. You want to add more skills, and you want to be very skilled at what you do, and you want to use AI. So that's how you adapt. So, and actually this can be applied to any field. Like you can say, hey, I'm an SEO. Yeah, you're an SEO. There's a future where there can be AI agents, for example, doing parts of your job. If keyword research for you is just plugging competitor URL in a third-party tool and pulling all the keywords, that's really not gonna help you or protect your position in the industry or protect your career. You need to do better than that, right? So this same mindset should be applied. You need to learn to use the tools and you need to be skilled at what you do. Mediocrity has no place anymore because that's what AI can do easily, right? Okay, so here's something to think about. There's this quote by Steve Jobs, and if you've been following me, you know that I'm a big fan of Steve Jobs. So he said by 1986, we're going to ship more computers than automobiles in this country. This was something weird to say, or was something new. Wow, there's going to be more computers than automobiles. You know, like, wow, more computers than cars. And I think there is going to be a time where we're going to say something like this about AI. So this learning how to use AI today is going to be the equivalent of learning how to use computers when they started going to the workplaces, when people started, hey, you need to learn to use this to do your job. This is the direction AI is going to, or the trend AI is going to follow, in my opinion. So there's going to be a time where you need to learn AI to do the job. It's not going to be, can you do SEO without a computer? Of course not. Can you do SEO without AI? That's how it's going to be. That's how important AI is going to be for our jobs, in my opinion, in the future, right? Okay. If you're still skeptical, let me show you an example. This is actually recent. Someone posted a job vacancy for an AI agent. Humans are not allowed to apply. And there's a future where AI you build your own agents and you apply, send it to or apply for jobs on their behalf and they can do the job. You're not doing the job. You're not running AI agents. That's a world that, that's something we should be able to visualize that it can be a reality. So you may be running a group of agents. For example, you can have an agent to do technical audit, and for Shopify stores specifically, or for WordPress or whatever backend, you can have an agent to do on-page optimization, where it's, for example, someone hires that agent, they get access to their Search Console data, they analyze which pages should be optimized, they pull the content on this page, those pages, do some research and find what else can be added, what entities are missing, optimize the title tags, maybe add an image as well, and optimize all the elements on the page and update that on the CMS. If let's say if it's a WordPress or a Shopify, they can actually automatically update that. They're taking action, right? And then they can actually measure did this work or not, and then create like some sort of feedback loop and update. Like they can actually do this. An AI agent can actually automate this entire process. So you can also create an agent to do an SEO opportunity analysis. So there's a world or a reality we should imagine where jobs are going to be asking for agents to do specific jobs or perform specific tasks, and we are going to be creating those AI agents. Obviously, that's not the only way I imagine the future, but that's one way some of the tasks out there is going to be like. So the question is, hey, there's an AI revolution. It's changing the way we work. Are you in? And I think you should. Okay. So you may be saying, okay, Sarah, I'm very interested. Now I want to know how I can use AI for doing SEO. Okay, there are two things. One is using AI for doing the keyboard work, which is the actual work you do, your keyword research, your tech audits, and so on. That's an area where you want to use AI as your assistant. And then there's optimizations, and I'm going to discuss that a bit later. So stay tuned. So let's start with using AI as your assistant. Let's say you're a senior SEO and you have a junior or a new person to SEO who's helping you to do keyword research, or not necessarily new, I would say a junior who's helping you do keyword research. This is how you can use AI, for example, right? So what you want to do is if you're asking yourself, how can I use AI in my workflows, in my job? First of all, you need to find your use case. You need to find, okay, what can I use AI in? What sort of tasks can I automate with AI? You want to look for repetitive tasks. And there are two ways to find those tasks. Number one is to analyze your workflows. Every task you're doing, break it down and see, okay, for example, for me, Sarah, I like to analyze SERPs times for a keyword. So if I'm sending recommendations for a blog for a keyword, I would like to pull the top 100 results, get their titles, find the most common words, and then use AI like ChatGPT or any other LLM to create suggested titles based off the most common keywords, the most common words found in the titles in search, and the input keyword that I gave the software in the beginning, right? And this is, for example, a small task that can be automated with AI. So you need to dig deeper into what you do and find things that are just repetitive, and it's okay to pass on to AI. Another thing is, and it's really straightforward, go to ChatGPT or Claude or any LLM and just chat with it and ask it, okay, what type of tasks can be automated with AI in SEO or in keyword research or in tech audit? And it's going to give you some ideas. And don't just take them at face value. Dig even deeper. Let's say collecting data from Google Keyword Planner, Ahrefs, SEMrush, and other tools. Okay, how could this be automated with AI? And what sort of keep digging deeper till you come up with a workflow like this diagram I have here. This is what you want to have in mind, a use case, and you have a clear understanding of what exactly this AI is going to be doing. And then the second thing, which is, I think this is the challenge right now. There's so many tools, so many stuff saying, hey, we're using AI to help you. And you need to decide which tools you're going to use. Okay, you need to learn a few things. You need to understand what's an API. If you're not familiar with coding, you may not be familiar with what an API is. So I'm going to explain it to you right now to get that off your list. An API is basically, and think of it as a waiter in a restaurant where you give it a request for data. It takes it to the kitchen, prepares the data, and brings it back. So if you want data from Search Console, you're going to use Search Console API. If you want data from Ahrefs, you'll use Ahrefs API, right? So to get whatever data you want. So now we understand what an API is. So you need to understand for your task, what specific APIs are you going to need? For this one, for example, for my workflow, I will need the SERP API because I want to pull the top 100 results. So you're going to use that API, ask it for the top 100 results. and then it's going to go get this data and return it back to you, right? Okay, and then you need to decide also what other tools you're going to be using. Are you going to automate this with LLMs? And I really think you should be using ChatGPT for your simple day-to-day tasks, right? Or are you going to use it, create your AI or automate using Python? Are you going to use custom GPT or an AI agent? And here is what I recommend. Everyone needs to learn how to use LLMs in their day-to-day. And then you need to learn at least one of those things here, right? Python or custom GPT or AI agent, one of those. I picked up Python and I'm looking for AI to learn about AI agents. Maybe you want to go for custom GPTs. So pick something. I would say leave AI agents as your second thing your third thing, right? So LLMs, master that, and then choose Python or custom GPTs to be familiar with automation. And then maybe you can go to AI agents. And the reason I'm putting this sequence is I think AI agents are more advanced and you need some understanding and some experience playing around with creating workflows and automation before you jump on agents. But maybe if you want to, you can totally jump there to that. So LLMs and one of those three skills at least, right? And then create and test. So I think this is one of the things that you will need to learn as you start learning how to automate and build automations. So here's a screenshot from Jonathan Bischoff, and Jonathan is creating a lot of great, cool automations. You can follow him on LinkedIn. So he says here it took him about 20 hours and 2 weeks of testing and improving to make an AI-powered on-page SEO assistant, not suck, to make it good, right? Why did it take him that long? And you may say, okay, but I can do that. Like I can do the actual on-page work in less time. That's true. But he created this tool now, or this assistant now, that he's going to be using over and over and over. And you spend so much building, but it's going to be saving you a lot of time moving forward, right? But the thing here I want to highlight is creating and testing is going to take time, right? So what do you need to learn at this stage, or what do you need to learn to be successful in actually creating an automation with AI? You need to learn prompting. I think prompting is one of the things we have made fun of a lot. Hey, prompt engineer, ha ha ha. It's not a real job, or whatever people say. Actually, it is. And you need to learn how to prompt. Most of us are not using ChatGPT the right way. If you're not prompting right, you're not going to be getting the best output you can. So please take a moment to master how you should prompt LLMs. And then another thing is QA. You need to learn to QA the output of whatever automation you're creating. So when I created this automation, for example, I need to spot check and double check that it's correct. It did the things correctly. Don't just trust, hey, because there's an output coming out of it, it means it's definitely correct. It may not. That's not necessarily true. So you need to be able to test and double check and perform some quality assurance. You need to know how to design a workflow like the diagram I shared. And in my opinion, and I highly recommend you spend some time understanding how a code works, basic understanding. You may not necessarily need to start with this, but this is something I highly recommend you put on your upskilling road. Okay, so let's look at some examples of automations. On the right here, I automated generation of meta descriptions with Python and LLMs. I give it a list of URLs, pulls the URLs, reads the content on the page, and creates a meta description and outputs it in a CSV file like this. Pretty straightforward. I know meta descriptions are not important, but this is for the sake of an example, right? And then we have here Elias Debas on LinkedIn. I also recommend you follow him. A lot of cool stuff. He created an AI-powered bulk content audit tool, and it used LLMs and generative AI to, for example, evaluate which of the guidelines your article satisfies when we talk about Google Helpful Content Checker tool, right? So it gives the articles a score, and a lot of things. It does a lot of things. So this is another example of something you can automate. If you have as I said, if you have a repetitive task, if you have specific checks you need to be done, this is something you should definitely consider automating. Okay. So we talked about AI to give us an output, but now we want to talk about AI that actually does the job like you do it. What do I mean by that? AI agents. The difference between an AI agent and just an LLM is that AI agent can take action. So an LLM is just like a brain and it has a mouse. AI agent is a brain and it has a mouse and it also has hands to do the tasks. What do I mean by this? So an AI agent can open a spreadsheet, right? It has knowledge and you specify what its knowledge base is. So it can be some spreadsheets, a specific website, for example, so it can check its knowledge. It has a memory and it uses LLM for some reasoning, and it can also come up with an output and go and execute it on its tool. So it can send an email on your behalf. It can, for example, interact with other users on a Slack bot. It can book a meeting for you. It can update blogs on a WordPress website. So you AI agents, you're building your own personal assistant which can actually execute tasks. So what does that mean for you? It means more, you can actually finish more work in less time. It means you'll have more time for yourself to learn new things, be creative and test new things. And think, as I said earlier, think of a world where you're managing an army of an AI agents. Okay? So what is the difference? As I said, what's the difference between AI agents and LLMs? An AI agent and LLMs have cut off training data, right? They have if you ask them, hey, what happened in January 2025, they have no idea. These are screenshots from Claude AI. I know that ChatGPT now can connect to the internet and so on, but that's not the case for all LLMs. So they have some limitations on the knowledge, right? And then LLMs cannot take action in the real world. As I said, there are brains with mouths, but they don't have hands. So, for example, if you ask Claude, can you send an email to my friend? And it's just going to tell you, I can help you draft an email, but I can't actually send emails myself since I'm an AI assistant without the ability to directly send messages or access email systems. An agent can actually do that. It also has a limited memory. The memory is, if you start a new conversation on your LLM, it may not remember, depending on which LLM you use, it may not remember your previous conversation, right? So it has some limitations, and you may think, oh, this is not a lot of limitations. It is when you actually want to do advanced and more complex tasks. Okay, so there are two ways to build an AI agent, either no-code AI agents or solutions that require coding and Python. I really recommend you play around with N8N, make.com, and AirOps. As you can see, the screenshot, the first screenshot is a workflow, right? We discussed that you need to learn how to build a workflow. So as you can see, this is a workflow, a diagram. So you need to know, okay, this is an AI agent. It receives messages, for example. It's going to use OpenAI. It has memory. It's going to connect to your Google Calendar to book a meeting, for example. So you just need to have your workflow clear and what this AI agent, this assistant of yours is going to be able, you're going to give access to or be able to do on your behalf. And then here's at the bottom, this is make.com. I was building an automation to, I have a form, people apply to join my Slack and they enter their emails and the agent will read those emails every time someone, you can adjust on how periodic you want this to happen. So let's say every week it's going to check for all the new emails that has been added to this form and connect to Slack on my behalf and add the users on my behalf and also send me a message telling me, hey, Sarah, I have added those people. So it's working as my personal assistant. And it's not using any LLMs right now, right? So it's a basic automation, but I think there may be some opportunity to add an LLM, for example. It can help you moderate actually. So for now, that's what I'm going after, just the basic thing. Once I get that working, I can add more features if I need to. And this is how I want you to explore automations. Start basic, test it, make sure it's working, and then add more features. And as I said, it's good to start with no code solutions. Code solutions are more advanced, will give you more functionality and more flexibility, but it's okay. I think you should start first with no code solutions. Okay, to this diagram where we discussed AI and SEO. So we said the keyboard work, your work, you need a personal assistant, and then there is AI for the actual optimizations. What do I mean by that? The most famous example that's very clear is, let's say you want to launch 1,000 pages in one click. So you have the list of keywords you want to create pages for. Let's build a workflow, right? And then you are going to run those keywords by an LLM to create a unique text for each of those keywords. And then this is where you're going to fine tune a prompt. And then you can actually get the output, and then you can use an AI agent to create those pages on your CMS. It can also have text, maybe add an image, specify the URL, optimize URL, and the title tags and more. So this can be as complex or as simple of a task you want, and it can be done with one click, right? It can you can have an agent that does the entire process for you. As I said, it can go as far as adding even images, adding alt text to images, Optima, internal links. It can do everything for you when it's creating those pages. Or you could just say, I want a basic automation where I give it a list of keywords and get a list of programs, and I will do the creation myself. But as I said, the future is using AI agents. This is something you may want to consider doing. It's going to automate your entire process, make your life way easier. Yeah, so that's that for today. It's a lot. And the purpose of this session is not to teach you how to use exactly, how to create exactly an AI agent, or how to use a specific tool, or how to build an automation. The purpose of this session is to show you the options and what you can do and what you should be learning. So I hope I give you enough motivation for you to dig into. I give some names for tools I recommend you play around with. I listed some skills I highly recommend you try to and add to your skill set, like building a workflow and using prompts properly and using LLMs properly. Hope you found this useful. Please let me know if you have any questions, and have a good one. Thank you for listening so far. Bye.